As soon as I came back from my morning walk yesterday, I received a phone call from a friend that Urmilesh has been raided and taken away by the Delhi police in connection with the NewsClick case. Like a fool, I immediately sent Urmilesh a message on his phone asking about his well-being. Little realizing that his phone had been seized by the special cell that raided his house. Just as I looked up the social media, the enormity of the operation by the Delhi police dawned on me. It was not just Urmilesh. I came to know the scores of journalists working for NewsClick had been raided early morning and their electronic gadgets were seized. Some of them I knew personally very closely, though I never worked for NewsClick nor contributed to it in any form. Urmilesh has been a dear friend since university days. We are fellow student activists, though belonging to different organizations. Prabir Purkayastha, the founder of NewsClick, was my senior at JNU. When we joined the campus, Prabir was already famous as he had gone to jail as a student activist for opposing the emergency in 1975. Suhail Hasmi was also my senior in JNU. I interact with him regularly on critical issues threatening our democracy. Paranjay Thakurta is someone I know reasonably well. I admire him for his courage of conviction, for openly speaking and writing with data and substance about corruption and crony capitalism of the ruling dispensation. Many others being questioned by Delhi police, I may not know personally so well, but all of them I have listened to or read over a period of time. I knew that the case against Prabir was going on since 2021. NewsClick has established itself as an anti-establishment platform for last several years. So it was bound to be on the radar of the government. Just as other digital platforms such as the Wire or the News Laundry, which have been from time to time pursuing fearless journalism and facing the consequences. Of course, the New York Times article in August this year gave the government a handle to renew its attack on NewsClick. The NYT report was primarily about Neville Roy Singham, a US citizen of Sri Lankan origin who has a business establishment in Shanghai, China. He is apparently a leftist billionaire who is a great admirer of Xi Jinping brand of communism. And according to NYT, Singham splurges money on the institutions that are ready to promote the current Chinese leadership. Apparently, many American non-profits have received Singham's money. NYT said NewsClick in India is also a beneficiary of Singham's munificence. Well, the US government, which is in a state of virtual war with China, took this report in its stride. It did not put Singham, its own citizen, on the dock. Nor did it move against the non-profits that have received Singham's money for promoting its arch enemy today, China. That's because USA is a self-assured country. It knows the likes of Singhams or dozens of recipients of his money cannot make China palatable to the US citizens. The national media, mainstream media of the US will show the true character of China to its citizens. But the Indian government is on a shaky foundation. It believes that its credibility is on thin ice. One NewsClick can destroy its credentials. The government believes that it cannot do anything to Singham as he is a US citizen, but it can move against NewsClick and hit it hard so that the portal can go out of existence. No wonder it charged NewsClick for being an agent of China. And what did the government's investigative agencies find to make the charge stick? Apparently, the NewsClick had published a couple of reports that had said that the Chinese government had handled the outbreak of COVID-19 pandemic very well, perhaps better compared to India. The government agencies also ferreted out a laudatory report in NewsClick on the 70th anniversary of Mao's Chinese Revolution, saying that it continued to inspire the working classes worldwide. Can you imagine a couple of reports on pandemic and another on Mao's China that makes NewsClick a stooge of the Communist Party of China? It's only an insecure political leadership that can believe this. Hundreds of American news portals, with or without Singham's money, do it every day. The US government does not raid their premises. It does not seize their gadgets. It's because a secure US government knows that this is part of the democratic discourse. If some news organizations based in USA laud China, so be it. They are free to do so, just as others who may speak against China. But it is the paranoia of the Indian government that a news portal, which in its 14-year existence, mind you, it was set up in 2009, which published a couple of pro-China pieces, and it's hauled up as an agent of the Chinese government. It's just not paranoia. Look at the viciousness of the Indian government. It arrested Prabir Purkayastha yesterday under the draconian terror law, UAPA, so that he does not get bail easily. What is the new charge? That NewsClick had made payments to Gautam Navalakha, the well-known activist who is now a UAPA accused. Well, Navalakha is an accused. He has not yet been convicted in a court of law. Can any payments for his contribution to NewsClick be termed as terrorist activity, as an activity that promotes terrorism? What an absurd proposition. Everyone knows that this will not stick in a court of law. But then, our government also knows that the wheel of justice grinds slowly in our country. So if Prabir spends, say, 3 years in jail before he is released by a court order, that's enough of a punishment for a 73-year-old. Remember Siddiqui Kappan, a journalist from Kerala, who was on his way to report on Hathras rape and murder. He was picked up and lodged in jail under the dreaded UAPA because of his supposed association with the PFI. The Supreme Court found all such charges of UP police untenable and freed him on bail. But by that time, Kapan had already spent 3 years in jail. Same is the story about scores of other journalists and activists who are rotting in jail. Most of them will not be convicted in the court. Charges against them are drummed up. But they will get bail only after 3, 4 or 5 years. They'll have to spend the time in the company of dreaded criminals. Their only crime? They exposed this government's acts of omission and commission. The government knows that the process is punishment enough. It doesn't matter if they are exonerated by the court some years down the line. That's why the government is sending out the message again and again. If you oppose this government, the only place for you is behind the bars. This is a repeated warning to all those who dare speak truth to power. Let us all be clear. We are living in an India which is a difficult time for watchdog journalists. But it's a scintillating time for those who wish to do lapdog journalism.